Hi guys, I hope you're all good. I hope you are all well. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, a warm welcome. I am Tisha Oliphant, born and bred in South Africa. And I wish I could say currently traveling the world, but I am not. I'm trying, guys, to get some light and the danger that's going on here. I am not currently traveling the world, but I'm rather in South Africa at the moment. Last year, I used to say that because I decided to take a gap year last year to travel, and it was awesome, and I'm still sharing my travel experience, and hence I thought I'll introduce this particular video. But if this is your home, thank you so much for staying here, for subscribing, for commenting, for sharing this video, for liking. Guys, please do like. I beg, I plead, please do like, because when you like, then YouTube is able to distribute my video to be seen by more people. So liking for a YouTuber is so important. It is as important as watching the ads. Even if you get an urge to skip the ad, just leave it. Go grab something to drink. Water is life, if that's what you prefer, or a cup of tea, and come back and listen to what I have to share. So I thought I'll come live today, but I just had a very spiritual live on Facebook. Yeah, and it a bit drained me because yeah, it was one of those where it was for someone to be motivated and be encouraged and inspired to keep pushing. So we're not talking about Facebook, but we are here on YouTube. So I want to introduce this video. After leaving Mexico, most of y'all who've watched my previous videos know Gucci, I headed to Guatemala, which became one of my favorite countries. It's now sitting on the top of the top list of my favorite countries. And I want to say I spent 3 weeks in Guatemala, in Antigua to be specific. Please do watch that video. I wish I could say the link is up here like other people normally say. I'll figure out how you include the link and how does it work, but I will probably try and drop a good description box next time or this time around. Just thinking that video that I want to end with, or the video that I'm actually introducing currently, I still need to edit it as well, and I promise to go live or drop a video every single day without fail, hopefully until the 13th of February 2024. And talking about that, please guys, do subscribe, do stay here, because from the 14th of February, every week we're gonna have boot camps, financial boot camps, and you don't want to miss it, because I'll put everything on the table. I'll share my how I did what I did to get where I am at, to even be able to travel for over 6 months non-stop, and yeah, how I got the formula right. So please do follow, do subscribe, I mean to say, I beg your pardon, and stay on the channel. But the video I want to introduce is the Guatemala. After spending 3 weeks in Guatemala, it was time to kiss Guatemala goodbye, and I was heading to Costa Rica. Please do watch my previous videos to see what I was up to, although I didn't film everything that I did, because for me the gap year was personal, and I did share some few, highlights, sneak peeks and all that. And yes, but I enjoyed more than what I shared. I just didn't want the camera to disturb my lifetime experience and my dream, which I built on for years. And sorry if you expected more and I gave you less. Next time when I travel, I'll share even more, like I did when I was in Turkey. So the time came, going back to Guatemala, guys, I keep on derailing, I'm sorry about that. The time came for me to pack my backpack, because I only traveled with my backpack, nothing else, and I'm glad I did, although it almost broke my back, and we'll talk about that in another video. It was time to say goodbye. And guys, I okay, I'll show you the video of what exactly happened. But with this intro, I want to encourage and, yes, ask you to please, before you go to any country, do your research. And I think I cannot emphasize this enough. You ought to do your research. You ought to check, obviously, what the requirements are, whether you need a visa for that particular country, for your particular citizenship, with how much the flights are before you have, or do you have a budget for that. Look at the weather, guys. You don't want to pack summer clothes and it in that particular country it's winter. That's the last thing you want to do to yourself. And look at maybe also important to learn some few words which you might need. Your hi, goodbye, thank you, how much, depending on what you're planning to do in that country. If you'll be shopping, definitely want to be able to ask them how much in their own language and thank them in their. It just warms the locals, and it puts a smile on so many people when they can see that you've made an effort to learn little bits of their language. So a research ought to go in. And also, I'll urge you to watch the news of that country, because I must say, currently, as we speak today, there's a strike in Germany, and if it's affecting flights, so the last thing you want is to book a flight without checking what is going on in that country. So when I was leaving Guatemala, unfortunately, they had something called manifestation, yes, manifestation. Oh God, I think I'm saying it wrong, but it was like a strike. A toy in South African words, go slow and tools down, if I may call it that. For those who are in SA, they'll understand, but strike. And it made it difficult to even leave. And unfortunately, this manifestation. Oh, guys, why am I not getting this word right? I'll put a caption, the correct word. Why it happens, and I've been saying this word all the time. Now that I'm live, that is English for you. And it started while I was there, and I remember I still wanted to go to Lake Anticlan, and I couldn't, because the roads were blocked, and you had to leave early hours of the morning if you needed to go elsewhere. And most coffee shops, I was going for a day, planning to go for a day to Lake Atletan. Oh, tongue twisting today is something else. You'll forgive me. I'll put it on. Hey, this is so bad. So, Lake Atletan. Lake Atletan. Forgive me, Guatemalans. Yeah, they say we don't say Guatemalans. We don't say Ghanaians, we say Ghanaians. Yo! Yeah, guys, we learn as we grow. But guys, I love you so much. I love your country. I hope there's someone from Guatemala who's following me, who's gonna correct all these wrongdoings that I'm doing right now. I'll be grateful. So I was told even before then that I will have to leave, escorted like Haba Pasela, and be moved early hours of the morning. I was thinking most coffee shops only opens around 9. So if I travel too early, what will I do if I get to that other side of the world of Guatemala, or the other city rather? And I decided otherwise. But unfortunately, on my last day in Guatemala, things got serious, and we were advised, as foreigners or travelers or tourists, but I was a foreigner, but I was a tourist, we could leave, allowed to leave, but only people from Guatemala weren't allowed to leave the country at that time, until everything had settled. My brain wanna say this word again, and I know I'll say it wrong. So let's drop it and leave it and carry on. So I was fetched from my hotel room. I think it was around 2 o'clock in the morning, because we could be escorted early hours before they barricade the roads. And then we still drove around. So I paid for this shuttle, uh, yeah, a shuttle service to come and fetch me, to take me to the Mexico. How can I be in Guatemala and talk about Mexico? To go to Guatemala City to get my flights to Costa Rica. I beg your pardon, guys. So from Antigua to there is about an hour, or maybe less than an hour, or more than an hour, but around an hour more or less. So this shuttle came to my hotel room early hours of the morning, around, I said 2, I think 1:30, around there. And we went to a few hostels and hotels around to collect other travelers or tourists that we were sharing. And guys, always try and share, it works out much reasonable. And if I remember well, I think it was 500 quetzales, or quetzals, if I'm not wrong, Guatemalan quetzales, or Guatemala quetzals. And remember, their currency is stronger than the rand, so you can Google and see how much it was to go to the airport. And unfortunately, guys, before we could even leave Antigua, they were already protesting. And I was thinking to myself, I know we do have protests in my country, but I was just not sure they would happen from 2 o'clock in the morning, or 1 o'clock in early hours, wee hours, not even wee hours. That's like midnight. And guys, we spent so much time. Luckily, we had 2 guys in our shuttle who could speak both Spanish and English. And that's where, going to Guatemala and learning another language, which is Spanish, well, I really realized the importance of knowing numerous languages, to be multilingual, although it takes years, guys, to fully grasp other people's languages, to be honest. But we were fortunate enough to have these 2 guys who tried and negotiate, and our driver was not budging. He just kept on saying, let's go back to Antigua, let's go back to our hotels, go back to our hostels, those who were booked in hostels, because there's no way out, there's no way through this closed and barricaded roads. And these locals who are also fighting for their rights at that point in time and protesting for what they believe in. But these guys just kept on going and begging and begging. And unfortunately, guys, this process took so long. There were times where you're gonna see the video at the end where we left the shuttle trying to walk to try and Uber and share Ubers, after they had allowed us to cross over, but they didn't allow our driver to come. We were walking, on foot, hoping we will find an Uber, and then it will take us to the airport. And we were willing to cough out more money over and above the amount that we had already paid, which only took us like 10 kilometers only before we hit this roadblock. And unfortunately, guys, it was so real. There was no Uber around, because I guess even the Uber drivers were fearing for their lives, or they were also protesting for what they believe in, so therefore, and you can't be seen working against what other people believe or are fighting for at that point in time. We know how the strikes work. I don't have to explain myself. So you also need to be seen as part of that, even though sometimes you don't agree. So there was no Uber around, no Uber available. We had to all walk back with our big backpacks. Luckily, our driver was still waiting on the other side. We begged the guys who could translate, begged the protesters to allow our driver to come through and just take us to the airport, to please just let us leave. And guys, the process took about over 3 hours to 4 hours. Sadly, there were people in our shuttle that missed their flights. You know, other people's flights were much earlier, like around 3:30, but we were still there. 4 o'clock in the morning, we were still there negotiating. And luckily my flight was a bit late. I think mine was at 9 or 10. So by the time the negotiations were over, at least, guys, it was like a dream when they finally said to our driver, he must just wait for 30 minutes. They need to call the leader of the protest and find out if... Guys, I'm looking at the wrong place the whole time. My word, I hope I don't look squint. Oh, I forget. Forgive me, guys. When they said they'll call the leader of the strike or protest or manifestation. I got it right, guys. Manifestation. And ask him if he can approve us or give them authority to allow us to pass. And we needed to just sit, but these guys kept on just updating us. And even in the shuttle, we weren't all speaking English. So there was a lady who was from Honduras, and she was only talking in Spanish. And sometimes when the guys communicated in English, she'll be a bit left out, and then we'll remind the guys to say, please, can you translate in Spanish as to what the updates are, what's the situation at this point in time. Oh, guys, it was exhausting. And I was just saying, oh Lord, let us just go past. And I just didn't picture myself after 3 weeks going back to Antigua to the same hotel, because remember, for 2 weeks I stayed in the same hotel, and only 1 week I did a homestay while I was learning Spanish so that I could practice with the family. But I just couldn't picture myself going back to the hotel or finding another hotel to stay at. So I was like, can we just leave? And also, most of all, forfeiting this particular flight, because it was booked, it was ready, I needed to leave, and there was no other way. And I must say, guys, I want to urge you, do your research, read the latest news, even if it's 2 days before you fly out of your country. Just check what is going on in the country that you're heading to, you traveling to, because, or traveling via, if maybe the problem, like currently Germany is striking, and there's a strike in Germany, and you'll find your transit is in Germany. So if you didn't read or watch the news or read an article, how are you gonna know what's going on? Because you can avoid such. And unfortunately, there are times where you book your flights much earlier, which we should all be doing to cut costs. And if these happens later, when you are just about to leave, 2 days before your flight, that's beyond your control. But if you've included the insurance that we spoke about, you can reschedule the flights, you can cancel. So these are very important facts to consider when you are flying or you are traveling to another country. So I will put the clip where you'll see us. It's not clear, it is not a long clip, because I mean, I was filming, you know, also underground filming. You can't film people who are striking. They will strike you with a rock. You know what I mean? So now I was joncharing the filming where I could. So it's not the best of the best videos, because it's not fully fledged filming with a smile and life is great and I want to show you everything clearer, get a bigger picture, a clearer picture. No, it's not one of those. So I'll definitely attach them at the end. And I hope you've learned from this video, and thank God I didn't miss my flight. But those ladies who missed their flight, shame, man, I feel so sorry for them. And others were just rushing because they were left with just few minutes before the boarding time and the check-in and all that. We all had our own stories to tell, but we kept together, we hoped together, we prayed together, and we were finally allowed to drive through and go back to our countries according to them. But some of us, we're still flying to other destinations before coming back home. And talking about that, even when I was in Panama, I couldn't explore Panama because they had a strike. And again, in Panama, I didn't check what was going on. I couldn't even, which is a video I must still do, why I ended up flying to Panama from Nicaragua instead of busing it. So I'll sit down and tell you what exactly happened on that. So have a great evening, guys. Let me edit this video so that you have it today, or tonight rather, as promised. And thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, for commenting, for being here. And please give me a chance if you're new. I promise you're gonna enjoy these videos, all of them: travel, career, and financial, personal finance. They say videos, although I wouldn't want to restrict them to just personal finance, because there's but I can share about business finance as well. But let's just say personal finance for now. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video. And guys, I've always wanted to do this. Allow me to do this.
Where are you from? Muchas gracias. Pasen.
So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we booked a shuttle due to the political unrest in Guatemala. We needed to leave the country, so yeah, it's today is the 10th of October 2023, and guys, sorry, we just walked past the protesters. They allowed us to walk past, but we're still like 40 minutes away from the airport with all our big bags as tourists, and we're trying to leave the country. We are grateful that there was a blockade, but we were allowed to leave. Our shuttle is left behind because it can't go past this area.
Make it through here because they need to like turn around somewhere.
Maybe we can walk a little bit.
What?
He said better to take it slow.
Ah, okay. Then let's call it here and then we can walk.
Oh, okay. Right, sir?
International Airport na
Yeah.
Aurora.
Wait. No, wait. Hay que dar paso, por favor. Ya no hay paso, señores, por favor. Gracias.
Gracias. Osama. Gracias.
Guatemala no.
Yeah, I think so.
Dieron pasada algunos allá, dieron pasada, pero